Hi everyone, welcome to week 2. So we are going to finish up Tuck Everlasting this week. We are going to finish up our packet. So there are actually several things in there that we have yet to do. First of all, we're going to look at theme. There is a paper in there that has several themes. What I'd like you to do is write down at least one example for each one of those themes using your book to help you. And then there is a fantasy elements sheet in your packet. Please go through that and complete it. You are familiar with these. We've done them for every genre that we've looked at this year. So it's very similar, and we looked at one earlier when we were talking about Jumanji. So complete that, and then also the character chart. I know there are a few characters that we have yet to complete, so go ahead and write down any descriptions for those characters. We will also be completing several responses. So on page 24 in your packet, there's a response there. We've done this before, so you're familiar with the setup. So go ahead and write your paragraph response for that. Then there'll be some connected readings. So we're going to be looking at readings that have similar ideas or themes to what we have looked at. The first one is from the Bible, so you will need your Bible. Go ahead and look up Ecclesiastes and read through that. There's always a focus question and a before you read for the next couple of ones. And then go through and answer the questions and make sure you're writing a complete sentence and answering every part of the question. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 questions for each number, so be careful with that. And then there is the Learning for Life on page 25. Once again, read that prompt, go through and think about how people might give this idea about strength and hope, and connect with yourself. So connect with something in your own life. So once again, we're trying to make connections between other selections and also with our own life. So write a journal entry for that, about a paragraph. And then on page 28, we're looking at the circle game. I've included the link to the song just so you can listen to it if you'd like to. And then the lyrics are also in the packet. I've included a poetry element sheet. I always think of songs as poems really with music. So if you'd like to take a look at that poetry element sheet, and please write down on the song itself anything you notice that might be poetic elements. Go ahead and feel free to write on that song sheet and label things as you go along. Listen to the song if you'd like, and then complete the questions. Once again, there's a focus question and then background information and then some questions to follow. Make sure you're answering all parts in complete sentences. Then we have 2 more selections. One is a myth, which we just finished looking at the unit before this. So you're familiar with myths, and then go through and take a look. There is a question there to answer, and then there's also a poem. Once again, use the poetry elements handout to complete any labeling of things that you notice that make this a poem. Okay, so go ahead and write right on the poem and then answer all of the questions that go with both of these selections. So that's what we'll be working on and reading this week, just kind of finishing and tying everything up with Tuck Everlasting that's in the packet. So at this point, by the end of the week, you should have the packet complete. In English, we will be looking at Wordly Wise. So we're starting a new unit. That's lesson 13. Read the words on Monday, and then A and B, and then on Tuesday, C and D, and then Wednesday, E. You're really familiar with that process, so hopefully that should go smoothly for you. And then we're going to be in chapter 4 of our grammar books for voyages. So we are looking at verbs now that we are starting a new unit. With the first unit here, it's talking about principal parts of verbs and verb phrases. There are 4 basic parts of verbs. We have present, past, present participle, and past participle. That's all described on page 386. So go through, read that. It also talks about verb phrases where you have 2 or more verbs that work together as a unit. And we often call these auxiliary or helper verbs that go along with the main verb. And once again, that's described on page 386. I have you going through exercise 1 as practice. I have attached the answers to that so you can see if you're on the right track, and then go ahead and do exercise 2 as the assignment. For the last assignment of the week, we have regular and irregular verbs. So it gives you just examples of the different verbs and kind of what the rules are for regular verbs and then irregular verb examples. And once again, for exercise 1, I have included the answers for that. I suggest using a trifold paper. We just did this last week when we looked at comparative and superlative and positive forms of adjectives, so you're familiar with that. I would label it present, past, and past participle. And I have, like I said, attached the answers so you can see if you're on the right track. Afterward, you can go ahead and complete exercises 2 and 3. Okay, so hopefully you have a great week, and I will be talking to you soon. Take care.